Hey guys, me David, and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars set review. Today we're taking a look at this brand new Boba Fett statue. A little interesting. The set number is 75455. It's going to have 1,544 pieces. Will be released on August 1st of 2026, and it will have a retail price of $170. Definitely not cheap. So, Boba Fett statue. We've seen this with C-3PO before as of a few years ago, and I like that set. It's interesting that LEGO is seemingly continuing a presumably new line of statue figures, and this seems to be in the same height range. I don't know if it's exactly one-to-one to what C-3PO is, but I like it. It's definitely, in my opinion, better than the busts that were released earlier this year. Granted, those are a lot cheaper, like $40 to $50. This is $170. But this is something far more substantial to put on display. Looks really good. The fan feedback from the reveal of the set was pretty positive, which I guess I was a little surprised about given the kind of turn of LEGO fans towards these display-oriented sets. And I mean, I'm in agreement. Why does LEGO keep on making so many display sets where it's display first, play second, if there's even play features at all? It just gets to be to the point of like, are we losing track of what LEGO was? Because it feels like it. We're getting way too close to display only and way further away from play and having fun with the set. Now, LEGO might argue and say, well, the fun is building it and, you know, building together and all of that. And there's also fun in playing with it too. So it's just another display set. With that said, there is something minifigure fans will enjoy about this set, which is the fact that if we turn the box around, we can see that there is a brand new Boba Fett minifigure that is truly based on Return of the Jedi. Now, a little lore history here for Star Wars fans. If you didn't know, there is two versions of Boba Fett, the Empire Strikes Back version and the Return of the Jedi version. They look very similar, but really the main difference is the color tones of his undersuit being either kind of a bluish tint or a light gray tint. And the light gray version is what you see in Return of the Jedi, and the light blue version is what you see in Empire Strikes Back. Now, most notably, we just got a Boba Fett in the Sarlacc pit that had the light blue arms and legs, which is not canonically accurate, and LEGO's been back and forth with light gray and light blue with Boba Fett for many years. And going back to the original Boba Fett minifigure, that was all light gray. And up until, I believe, the mid-2010s is when they made the shift to the light blue arms to what we see in Empire Strikes Back. And then they made a quick shift back in 2017 with the Sarlacc pit set, which had the light gray Boba Fett, which was accurate to Return of the Jedi. But that didn't have arm printing, and now for the first time, we have a truly accurate version of Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi with the full light gray suit. Now, fun fact, the last time we got a Boba Fett minifigure that was light gray and had arm printing was the Cloud City Boba Fett. Yes, the $2,000 Cloud City Boba Fett. So it's a kind of a big deal that we're getting this particular version of this figure in this set. It's accurate, it looks good. Though, of course, there was a controversy around this set being that the lifestyle images, the studio in-person images that LEGO puts on their website, had a version of Boba Fett with light blue arms but light gray legs, and yet the renders on the box here, as well as the renders on the website, showed light gray arms, and LEGO had to clarify that that was a mistake and that it should come with light gray arms. We will find out here in just a second whether that is the truth or not. Is it light blue arms? Is it light gray or light bluish gray arms? We'll find out here in a second. It's kind of driving me a little nuts, but point being is there was quite a stir up about that, and weirdly LEGO has not taken down those lifestyle images on the website. They're still there as I'm making this review here in mid-July, and I think they should take them down. It's not an accurate photo of what you're getting out of this set. Looking a little closer as we take a look here at the back of the box, I can notice some stickers here on Boba Fett, which is really disappointing for $170. Finally, I do want to thank LEGO for sending this set over for an early review, and I should note this is going to be the only August 1st set that I get my hands on early. I was told due to logistical limits from LEGO, they are not able to send out the other three LEGO Star Wars playsets, being the AT-AT, the Sandcrawler, as well as the mech from The Mandalorian and Grogu. So I'll be purchasing them like everybody else come August 1st, and those reviews will come shortly thereafter. With all that said, let's go into the in-depth of the Boba Fett statue.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag here. While there is a relatively small sticker sheet included in the set, and there is actual printed pieces in the set unique to Boba Fett, I still have an issue with the T-visor stickers, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes. Next, we have some extra pieces outside of the normal paper bags in this case. Could be plastic bags depending on where you're at in the world, but there's 15 in total in this set, and LEGO does say you can build together with other family members, though there's only one instruction booklet in this set, meaning you'll have to use like the digital app or something if you want to do that. There's a full introduction on Boba Fett, multiple pages talking about him, and some beautiful art here, I think, from the Boba Fett show on Disney Plus, but also a nice callback to his origins on the holiday special, as well as the white armor before they actually colored it, right before they started filming Empire Strikes Back, which is pretty cool. There's a separate little container here for the capes. This is actually in bag 14. It's not separated, but I figured I'd show this to you anyways. It was interesting that they wrapped up 2 capes into one. It was kind of cute. It's like the bigger Boba Fett cape was holding the little Boba Fett cape for the minifigure. But we need to turn our attention now to the set itself, this Boba Fett statue. But more importantly, what is the case with that minifigure? Does it come with light blue arms or light bluish gray arms? That's what everybody wants to know, and the answer is it's light bluish gray. The renders are correct. You're getting a full light bluish gray Boba Fett minifigure, accurate to Return of the Jedi, which is very nice to see. I'm glad the LEGO Star Wars minifigure team has paid close attention here and seemingly got all the details right. The arm printing looks fantastic. He, of course, has his little cloth piece, his jetpack, his helmet, but those arm prints are what really stands out to me. It looks really good, and again, it's the first time that there's been arm printing on a light bluish gray or light gray Boba Fett since the Cloud City Boba Fett, so again, a little bit of a big deal. Double-sided head print, though the second tier of the print on the other side of the head is just some scarring, which looks cool to me, and you can see here, you can place a Boba here off to the side of the printed plaque that is very similar, if not identical, to what we see in the droid sets, as well as other buildable characters like Chewbacca. And I also want to point to the T-visor here on this printed plaque. It doesn't quite match up with the design language of the actual stickers being utilized on the pieces here on the real set, which is a bit of a pain point for me, and I'll talk about that again here in a minute. But my first impressions of the statue is in person. It looks really good, and I know we've had so many display-oriented sets in 2026, not just in LEGO Star Wars, but in the general LEGO portfolio. There's been so many display sets, and display fatigue has been setting into a lot of fans, but Boba Fett stands out as one of the best. I think LEGO is on the right track here to pick Boba Fett. He's got so much color happening here that breaks up the build flow, so it doesn't feel like, you know, what maybe a Darth Vader would feel like, so much black pieces and you're just putting them all together, maybe getting confused as you go along. But with Boba, it's just easy. You know, there's some light bluish gray here and there, but there's a nice mix of colors that really breaks up the character and really brings the actual statue itself alive. Now, there is printed pieces here on the top of his helmet. There's also, of course, his rangefinder that you can lower up and down, which is a little fun, I must say. Reminds me of the helmet set, of course, and of course you can do it on the figure too. But those printed pieces include these curved shaped pieces for his helmet. There's actually 4 printed pieces here, which was quite surprising to see this. I would have expected these to be stickers. But it also frustrates me because they started doing printed pieces in the set and they couldn't go a little further for the T-visor. Now, if you take these pieces off, there's a little Easter egg of the white Boba Fett as well as his cartoon character from the holiday special made out of studs. I think that's pretty cool. You can see there's also a little pink brick for his brain in the middle. And this is my frustration point, is the T-visor. They really should have printed this piece. These 2 curved pieces that kind of shape the T-visor, and you just can't get the stickers perfectly right because they don't match the exact size of the piece, so you have this little drop off. And yes, I'm nitpicking here, but it's a $170 set, and I feel like something like this should have been printed. This is where your eyes go, and if you don't get those stickers right, you'll notice, and it's really, really frustrating. Now, as for the back of Boba, you can see he does have his jetpack that is fully removable, so if you want to take that off, you can. A lot of colors here. Really simple build, but at the same time, very elegant and well done. Of course, he has his little cape piece here, which also is pretty cool. It's the same fabric material that the upscale Darth Vader uses, so it's not a malleable kind of cape. It's just kind of floaty, if you will. And you can see when we take the cape off, there is still a lot of detail to see around Boba. Plenty of, again, colors, great overall shaping. It doesn't feel wonky or lopsided in any way. Now, unfortunately, Boba is stuck in terms of his feet, but you can actually move his arms around, and you can actually take his blaster here off as well, which was pretty well designed. I like the overall look. It's pretty impressive. But there was more arm movement than I was expecting for a set like this. Surprisingly, you can move the shoulders and the hands are actually posable, and even there's a little bit of posability with the fingers as well. But his wrist move and turn around, I mean, there's full ball joint posability with the hand, even a little bit of posability with the fingers, though you can't quite recreate a very iconic moment of Boba Fett and Robot Chicken. I was a little bit disappointed about that, but I'm sure you can modify this hand to create a very funny moment, if you know what I mean. But I have to say, there is enough posability with his arms, even when you take the blaster off, to get some very funny Boba Fett poses, which I actually was surprised by. This kind of took me back. I was like, wait a second, you can have a little bit of fun here. You can change the kind of dynamics of the set, which I thought it was just going to be a statue that locks in place and then that's that. But you can actually really have some fun here, at least come up with 4 or 5 different poses instead of him just holding his blaster like normal. Now, the armor here on the middle, the chest plate does have stickers as well as the shoulder. Again, of course, I wish these were printed pieces. Those don't bother me nearly as much as the T-visor. I really think they should have printed those T-visor curved slope pieces. That's what's going to bug people. That's at least what bugs me. Maybe it doesn't bug you. But let's get on to the comparison here. I think the first, and maybe somewhat obvious, maybe not, is to compare Boba here to Iron Man. Now, Iron Man, I think, is a better value at $130, 1,300 pieces. Also comes with an exclusive Mark III Iron Man with arm printing, so it's pretty much on par with what you're getting out of Boba Fett here, the minifigure. So they're pretty much on par with each other, though Boba Fett does have roughly 250 more pieces, but we're talking about $170 versus $130. So there's a $40 difference between the two. You could argue that cape piece on Boba maybe adds some cost, but it just doesn't seem nearly as good as a value as what Iron Man is for $130. Now, another great comparison is going to be C-3PO, and I went ahead and just added the $100 R2-D2 from the 25th anniversary in as well, because I do think all 3 of these guys scale really good together. And you can see that it pretty much works out, especially R2. I was surprised, pretty much matches Boba's height. You can see here that the actual stand that both C-3PO and Boba Fett are on are exactly the same in terms of sizing, so I'm sure that was intentional, and I'm sure if LEGO continues to make more statue figurines like this, they'll probably use that same size stand. And I like it. It looks good. It does seem very fun. You can actually switch the arms out between Boba and C-3PO if for some reason you want to do that. It is possible. I was having a little bit of fun, again, messing around with the different sets. And then for those of you who have maybe the helmet collection, is this new statue collection, I don't know what LEGO is going to call it if they ever give it a name, better than the helmets? I think in some ways they are better. I mean, I feel like you're getting way more of the Boba Fett feel with the statue than you ever would get with just the helmet, but you are paying quite a premium to get the full scale figure built out of Lego bricks, $100 more than any helmet set at $170. And so it makes you think, is Boba Fett, the statue, worth that price tag?
So it's more than fair to say that this year in 2026, there has been so many display-oriented sets, and display fatigue is setting into a lot of fans, whether you're into Lego Star Wars or not. It is getting a little crazy. However, is Boba Fett here the exception? Because this is actually a pretty good set, better than I was personally expecting. Now, Iron Man over here also really shocked me. Surprisingly, a good set that came out, I believe, at the end of last year, beginning of this year. Boba Fett here also, once again, has surprised me, and I'm growing on these statues. I think they can work. They definitely work a lot better than the bust that came out earlier this year. However, this particular set is not perfect. It comes close to perfection, though. I gotta say, LEGO did actually print some pieces, being here on the helmet, 4 separate printed pieces, but they didn't go a little further. Just to flesh it out perfectly, they could have printed a few more pieces here on the body, but what the absolute pain point has to be is the visor, the T-visor. The fact that there's 2 stickers right here to get that curve on the T-visor should have absolutely been a printed piece, because when I look at the printed plaque here, and specifically how, I guess, the thinking of this design of the sticker is supposed to be implemented, the way stickers are designed from LEGO is that they're intentionally smaller than the actual piece themselves, so that way it gives you a little wiggle room. But this design for the T-visor is meant to basically cover edge to edge from top to bottom of the piece, and that's just not possible with the sticker that's provided. You can choose one side or the other of what do you want the touch of the other dark red Lego pieces with the sticker, but you can't get it perfect, and it's extremely, extremely frustrating. Is this a nitpick? I don't think so, because your eye goes straight to his helmet, and when you look closely at it, it's something that I notice, and I think a lot of fans will too. Now, if you're looking at it from a distance across the room, you're probably not going to care, and if you don't care about it, then that's the only real complaint I can make about this set, because everything else about it is really good. The build flow is excellent. There's actually a lot of interesting techniques. There's even some confusing parts, but I enjoyed the challenge. There's really great details all around. I mean, the fact that you get this nice cape here is pretty cool. The minifigure included in this set is top notch. What I would expect for a premium adult-oriented set like this at $170. This is a great figure. It's the light bluish gray Boba Fett, something fans have wanted for a long time. So that's going to be a driving factor to probably push people over the edge to consider picking up this set. So really, it's just the sticker usage in this set. Everything else about it is pretty much perfect. The design is great. I really like that there is some posability here. Could have been a little bit better, but I mean, this is already impressive. Is it worth $170? 1,500, a little over 1,500 pieces. It's definitely not the greatest price per piece ratio, but the exclusive minifigure and the fact that there are some printed pieces help the value out here. Plus, it's Boba Fett. It is an iconic character. I think some people be willing to pay up a little bit more. Is this a day one purchase? I don't think so. I think waiting a little bit longer, maybe towards the end of the year, this could go on some type of sale on Amazon. 20% off would bring this down to roughly in the $140 range, $130. That seems a little bit more reasonable for what you're getting out of this. 170 is high. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea to pick this up day one, but if you're okay waiting, you don't have to have this Boba Fett day one, then at some point I will recommend picking up this set. Because of its flaws with the printed pieces and because of the price being a little too high. I think $150 would have been more appropriate for the whole package here. $170, it's just pushing it. It really is. It's, once again, like most LEGO Star Wars sets this year, pushing how far can LEGO take these prices. $150 is the sweet spot or lower, and at that point I think I can recommend this set. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you going to pick up Boba Fett? Does this interest you? Do you think the character's cool enough to spend $170 on a brick-built statue like this? Do you have display fatigue? Is the figure the driving portion of the potential purchase for you? Definitely curious to hear all your thoughts down below. I do want to thank LEGO for sending this set over for review. I hope you guys have a great, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.